Well, to speak more on this, let's now welcome SABC meteorologist Mpho Rasimphi, who is going to help us understand the extreme weather conditions we've been experiencing. And Mpho, thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon and a warm welcome. And I know that I'm not the only South African who believes that these weather patterns do not make sense. I mean, we are right in the middle of spring, but we are experiencing snow, and the weather service is now telling us we will be experiencing one of the hottest summers. What's going on?
Let's start with the snowfall that we've been experiencing.
Yeah.
Look, it's not rare. If you go back in history, even 2011, I think, we do expect snowfalls late winter and beginning of spring.
Okay.
So snow is actually normal. The only thing which is abnormal about the snowfalls that we had is the intensity of how it is.
Right.
So which comes down to climate change, as we know.
What have possibly triggered that?
Like I said, climate change, the warming of the seas. Basically, climate change is one of the triggers that we said. That's what I'm saying. For us meteorologists, we don't talk about climate change that much because we only deal with isolated incidents. It's hard to actually talk about climate change when the incident is just isolated. But the only thing that we're seeing as we go is that these events are becoming more intense.
Okay.
Like I said, the snow in early spring is not abnormal. But the intensity is the thing that actually can surprise us in terms of how intense it was.
Yeah. And we also spoke of La Nina that we're likely to experience this coming summer, and we are likely to experience the heat wave. Would also attribute that to the climate change?
Look, I wouldn't attribute that much to climate change. It's a matter of we always talk about the Enzo cycle that we're going in. We are in a natural state currently, but the La Nina is expected to develop probably this month. November should be, but it is a weak La Nina, meaning that the predictions are not actually, we're not actually too sure about them because of how weak the La Nina is. If it was going to be a strong one, that we'll be sure we're going to get above normal rainfall and then probably some above normal temperatures. But because it's weak, we're not certain that much about the seasonal forecast.
Right. So what would you attribute the fact that certain provinces experience a certain climatic phenomenon like intense snow, intense rainfall? Isn't it not spread throughout the country?
No, not really, because South Africa is very unique in terms of the topography and where we are positioned. Yes, that is why. Remember, we have two oceans. Let me give an example of the oceans. Yes. We have a cooler Atlantic Ocean, which is driven by the cold Benguela current. Then when you go to the side of Durban, it's warm. That's where we get our tropical cyclones and all that, because it's a warm one. Right. So between those two, because one is cold, one is cool, one is warm, in terms of the weather that we get, it will be different in terms of the weather we get. Even in the Highveld. Like right now, in the Highveld in winter, we normally get dry and warm conditions, but sometimes cool because it's winter. But when you go to the southern parts of the country, the Western Cape and Eastern Cape, the cold fronts come in, we get a lot of rainfall and a lot of cold drop in temperatures in winter. Something like that. Like now in October, we're going to our rainfall season into the Highvelds, like Limpopo, Gauteng, and also Mpumalanga. We're expecting severe thunderstorms a lot over October because that's when our severe thunderstorm and our rainfall season actually kicks in. So the topography is different in all types of the country. Okay. Like Northern Cape is a semi-desert. So the conditions will be different compared to the KwaZulu-Natal, where we have the Drakensberg Mountain. So all those things play a role in terms of what kind of weather we get in different areas. So
am I also correct to assume that given the uniqueness of the country's provinces, not all the provinces will be experiencing the heat wave that is projected to be, that will be experiencing this coming summer? No, like definitely. Because of the temperatures. Remember, if someone is in Free State, let's say in Bloemfontein, you can compare, we talk about hotness, you can compare that person and the person who's in Palabo. Yeah, sure. Yes, definitely. That's even in winter, it's always below freezing point in Free State, but in Limpopo you find it's warm, or in Durban you find it's warm in winter, and other people are freezing in some areas. So there's always a difference in terms of the temperatures and also the weather patterns that we get all over South Africa. Okay, and then the upcoming snowfall, what's the intensity? What are you projecting? Look, currently right now we're not seeing anything in terms of snowfalls. Let's say for the coming week, we're seeing temperatures just picking up, just being warm a little bit over most of the country. We're only expecting a high pressure system to reach into KwaZulu-Natal. That's why we're expecting rainy conditions in the upcoming days. The rest of South Africa is actually clear. Then we have there won't be snow in KZN, just to make it clear. It's just only rainfall. Just rainfall. Okay. Remember, the snowfalls depend on the system that we're getting. Yeah. Like I said, we got a cutoff flow. Yes.
We got a cold front and we got a cut-off low. That's what made it that system, the snowfalls, more significant.
But then when it comes to KZN, I must ask you this, in terms of the intensity of the rainfall, because you know what happened in the past with regards to intense rainfall.
Yes.
What's the intensity that you guys are projecting?
The intensity for now, look, we're not seeing any system that is actually dangerous to that extent for now in terms of causing that. Remember, with us, we work with short-term forecasting. So we go over a week. So when we have a system that's coming, that's when, remember, even with the snowfalls that we got, the media release that was released by South African Service in terms of the warning, it was released on somewhere around Wednesday, late Wednesday towards Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, because we do short-term. That's when the warnings are done. So for now, when you look at in terms of this week, the rest of the week and the coming week, we're seeing nothing in terms of a big system coming in, causing anything. So right now, we're only seeing some rainy conditions over the the southern parts of the country early next week in terms of the trough coming in. But for now, everything is going to be okay over KwaZulu-Natal. Just some drizzle and some rainy conditions expected over that interior.
Right, and I suppose we'll be needing you guys more than ever, and you'll be working on overdrive, eh?
No, definitely.
All right, Mpho, great chatting to you. Thank you. Well, that was our forecaster, Mpho Rasimphi, quelling some of the fears with regards to snowfall and intense rainfall and, of course, the upcoming heat wave.